So what is up, YouTube? We're back with another YouTube video, and today we're here with a Sepulcher Legend Lost Sector video. As you can see, I just spawned in the quagmire at the Throne World. But to find the Throne World, go to your destinations, look to the left side, bottom left of your map. You'll see Court of Savathun, the Throne World, then spawn in the quagmire, and then we'll just make our way to the Lost Sector. You can go from the right if you want to get there the fastest, and I'll just show you guys how to get there. But right off the bat, I do want to apologize that I'm uploading this video so late, and late as in the Lost Sector goes away in like 4 or 5 hours, so I do want to apologize for that. Usually I try to get these done by reset, but things like a messed up sleep schedule as well as things like construction that don't allow me to record when the Lost Sector comes out does kind of hurt that. So again, I do want to apologize. That's one thing I really try to force myself to do, is upload as soon as it comes out and everything, but I still try to put it out that way. If you're trying to follow day to day every Lost Sector, you still see it. But you're gonna see right here, this is the area where you're gonna find the Lost Sector, and you can see, if you don't see this little flag here or the icon on your map, that means you need to complete it normally to unlock Legend and Master difficulty. So work your way in here. This little, it's not even a cave, it's more just like a, I don't even know, to be honest. Like, it's just, it's its own thing here. But you can see it's like a little kind of fortress, I guess, something like that. But as you reach a certain point, it'll say Sepulcher, as you can see. And I think right here is where you'll find the entrance, and this is where it starts. You'll see the enemies here. Start the Lost Sector, kill everything. Make sure to kill the boss at the end and loot the chest at the end, and you'll unlock Legend and Master difficulty for this Lost Sector. So we're going to work our way up here and kind of go over the modifiers. So you can see it is a good distance away if you're trying to work your way back up. And I'm just going to miss a jump there, that's embarrassing. Let's go over here. Now that we've made our way back up, you can see for Legend difficulty we have Arc and Solar Shields, locked loadout, extra shields, equipment locked, limited revives, Barrier and Unstoppable champions, Solar Threat, 25% increase to incoming solar damage. Then we have Fire Pit, when defeated acolytes spawn fire pools that cause damage over time. Overcharged weapons, weapon overcharges from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Then we have Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. And an Overcharged Fusion Rifle with 25% bonus to fusion rifle damage. Now, in terms of what you have here, recommended power 1830, but 1815 and above you should be fine. Enhancement cores are uncommon, and if completed solo, exotic arms armor is rare. So if you're a hunter, you can get the new exotic to drop. I ended up getting it to drop after I finished it. As you can see, I have it here, Triton Vice, and it's for glaives. To be honest, it's an exotic about glaives, so half of you are gonna like it and half of you probably aren't. But if that's what you're trying to get, you can get it today. Although I recommend, if there's an easier one that comes out in the Lost Sector rotation, I highly recommend doing a different one. But if this is all you have is time today, then feel free to go for that. But now we're going to go into the loadout, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So here's the build that I have put together real quick. It's Thread Runner Hunter subclass, basically a strand with Silk Strike, and then we have Marksman Dodge, Triple Jump, Threaded Spike, Threadlink Grenades, and we have Widow Silk and Threaded Spectre. For fragments, we have Thread of Generation, Thread of Evolution, Thread of Binding, and Thread of Continuity. Then for our kinetic weapon, we're using Malfeasance. And in my opinion, this is just a really good weapon in general, and it has intrinsic unstoppable rounds. So you can pair it with Unstoppable Hand Cannon. It's going to use both of them, but even if Unstoppable Hand Cannon wasn't on the artifact, you would still be able to use it. So whether or not you use that upgrade slot or not, it's completely up to you, but you can use this without the artifact mod and it'll work. Now, just to show you, I do have the catalyst, but it's not done yet. So if you get this catalyst, it will do increased damage against champions and bosses and everything. So keep that in mind. If you have that, work on that, in my opinion. But Malfeasance, this is mainly for unstoppable champions, and it's like one of my go-to guns, to be honest, at this point. I enjoy using it. so I'm using malfeasance for that. Then in my secondary slot, you can pretty much run whatever, but I'm running an auto rifle for those barrier champions as well as an arc one. That way we're taking advantage of an arc burn. And to be honest, I try to make these videos so, you know, relatively new players or people who haven't done this before, they can follow it very easily by using artifact mods. And as you can see, the only barrier mod we have here is anti-barrier auto rifle. Now that's not to say that you can't use anything here like solar radiant effects, unraveling weapon rounds, volatile weapon rounds, or like it says, gear with pierce traits or additional artifact perk effects. So I'm using it just so in case if there's any new players, whatever, you can still understand the build. But it's any auto rifle. If it's arc, that is going to help you because you're going to get that arc buff to damage, which is good. But I like to use this one just because it has a big magazine size. As you can see, if you take off the backup mag, it has 50. So if you put on the backup mag, you get extra 10. And I just like this because when you're dealing with a barrier champion and they bring their shield out, let's say, you know, you've shot 20 shots already, you have 40 left. If you miss some shots, you might, you know, not stun the champion and then he'll heal and everything like that. But if you have a weapon that only has like 20 or 30 shots, and you missed, let's say, 5 shots, that could be the difference between, you know, you possibly not starting the champion, taking damage, dying, and then restarting the whole thing or whatever. It's completely up to you, but this is just what I like to use for barrier champions. Then for my heavy slot, I'm running circular logic. We have a strand and arc buff, so that's why I have an arc auto rifle like I mentioned. But then I'm running strand heavy for the machine gun here, circular logic, and I just like heavy weapons, the machine gun slot, because they carry a lot of ammo. You don't really have to worry too much about, you know, if you're using a rocket launcher, you only have like 6 shots or something like that. Here you can carry a whole lot. Heavy ammo that drops, you're always going to have some that drop, so you can pick it up and choose whether or not you use it against ads or stuff like that. So overall, I think it's a decent weapon, and if you have the perk hatchling, it does help with a little extra damage. So just, if you can, try to get one of those. But then for my armor, you can see we have Ashes to Assets and Kinetic Siphon with Strand Siphon. Ashes to Assets, you gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Since we're running Strand, we're going to be using our nades to get kills for us. So getting super energy on grenade kills is pretty useful. Kinetic Siphon and Strand Siphon are rapid strand, and kinetic weapon final blows create orbs of power. So no matter what weapon we use, it's going to generate orbs, just not on the arc weapon. So if we run malfeasance, we're going to generate orbs, and if we run, let's say we decide to kill ads with our machine gun for something, then we're generating orbs. So it's a surefire way to generate orbs. But then on top of that, we also have firepower, which is your grenade final blows create orbs of power. So you can see we're generating orbs from a lot of different places. Grenade kickstart, which is your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. So you can see we're using our nades, and if we don't have any more nades, that's a benefit to using it because then we'll gain grenade energy. And then we have fastball, which increases grenade throw distance. And to be honest, I didn't really have too many options for this slot. You can see I do have some melee ones because of my artifact, but normally you wouldn't have these. And to be honest, the spike isn't that useful in my opinion when it comes to these red health bar enemies. It's not even a one shot, so that's why I just have fastball on. Then in terms of my chest piece, I do want to point out, because I've skipped this over every single time, but as you can see, this is Artifice Armor. So what does Artifice Armor do? You can see if you compare it to a regular armor slot here, like this is an Artifice Armor, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 slots, right? You can see the first one is always a general armor mod, which is, you know, things like this. You can increase resilience, you can just bring up your stats. These, on the other hand, are chest armor mods, which are perks and things that can benefit you that don't affect stats, at least in some form of capacity, right? Now you can notice how that one had 4. This one you're going to see this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots here. And what you're going to notice is you can have an extra just Artifice Armor mod, which is basically going to allow you to pick a +3 in any stat that you want. So just keep that in mind. If you can't get, you know, 2 of these like I have, don't worry about it. But just note this is Artifice Armor, so you might not have, you know, the same chest piece or whatever. Just don't be too worried about it. But solar damage resistance and solar damage resistance, I have 2 of those. And then I also have an arc resistant mod, as you can see here. And this is pretty much because of that solar damage buff the enemies have. Hive enemies, I think it's acolytes, they do fire damage, and I think there's even the modifier that if you kill an enemy, they're going to drop a fire pool. So you can see fire is present throughout the Lost Sector. And then I have an arc resistant mod just because they do some arc damage, and there's also a Lucent Hive at the beginning that does arc damage, and there's also a Lucent Hive that does solar damage throughout it, and the boss is arc damage, so you're pretty much facing every single damage type, but a majority of it is arc and solar, so just keep that in mind. That's why I have 2 solar, because you're mostly getting solar damage, but you're also going to run into arc damage. Then when it comes to my leg armor, we're running Star Eater Scales in Exotic, and this has Better Already, which is your health begins to regenerate immediately after picking up an Orb of Power. So again, let's say you're taking damage and you're about to die, you see an orb, you can go pick it up and it's going to start healing you. That way, you don't have to die and waste a token and stuff like that. Strand Weapon Surge and Kinetic Weapon Surge. This is your Strand Weapons gain small bonus to damage while you have an active, or while you have any armor charge. Same thing for Kinetic Weapon Surge, and it just affects your kinetic and your strand weapons. Now, if you want, you can switch out the strand one for an auto rifle if you're going to be using your auto rifle or whatever your secondary is. So in my case, I would put on Arc Weapon Surge, but I recommend, if you're using Malfeasance, have a Kinetic Weapon Surge mod, just because 9 times out of 10 this is what I was using throughout the Lost Sector. So use your most popular, or the weapon you're going to use the most. Make sure you have one of that on, that way you're getting an extra damage boost. That way, it's a lot easier to complete the Lost Sector instead of making it a little harder for yourself. Then in terms of my cloak, we have Time Dilation, 2 of these, and this is your Decaying Armor Charge, has a longer duration. So we're really trying to get every single bit of use we can from armor charges. And then Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So if we dodge and we throw our decoy, since we're using that aspect, it's going to allow us to get grenade energy, which is very useful, because that way, again, we're spamming nades. Once we spam our nades, we get bonus energy for using them, and then using our class ability will allow us to get even more grenade energy. So you kind of always have grenades if you just remember to use them, because as you're going to see in the gameplay, sometimes I just sit on my nades for no reason. It's like a bad habit that I have, but that's going to do it for this. I do want to mention very quickly artifact mods that I have present. You can see we have things like Counter Charge, which is going to gain an armor charge when you stun a champion. And we also have some other ones, but I don't really think they're that useful. Just make sure you have Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle. Make sure you have, let me see what else, Counter Charge. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. Nothing else. I mean, you can use these, artifact perks here for Strand if you want to just respec and put other stuff on for Strand. Me personally, to gain Woven Mail on Hunter when you use your grapple and stuff, that means you have to take your nades off, and I'm just not, at least that's one way to do it if you're exotic, that helmet that you get, but, just keep that in mind. You can do some other stuff here, but that's going to do it for the build. So we're going to switch over to the gameplay now. So you can see we're going to spawn in, and right here you're going to have some red health bar enemies. Not anything too crazy. You're going to have a knight with an arc shield, which is going to be kind of annoying. But you can see if you hit some crits, you can easily deal with him. Then we just got these hive enemies that are left. Deal with that. Now what I recommend doing is, you can see on the left side we have a barrier knight, and on the right we have like a wizard. I recommend getting rid of the wizard first, and then kind of picking a side. If you want to get rid of the barrier knight, get rid of all the enemies on the left, and then use the left to your advantage. That way you have one side that's clear. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this spot, but I just use it here because it's kind of a safe spot. You can always have the room behind you that you just came from to hide in. For example, you can see I'm one shot, you run in here, they're not gonna push past that point in the room. So that's why I sit in this little hallway area. I don't really know what's the right term for it, but you can see we're just gonna deal with ads on the right side. At one point there's gonna be more ads that spawn, so keep that in mind, but they're just acolytes, they're not anything too crazy. I'm gonna throw some nades because, to be honest, I'm just sitting on them, so you might as well use them. Get rid of these. Let me move to my right, just double check that spawn door, pick up as many orbs as possible. Now I'm pretty much gonna try to deal with this barrier knight. Now he didn't bring his shield out yet. do that. Use my heavy. I'm gonna go for a finisher, just so I don't use a lot of heavy. Now you can see we're gonna have a light bearer wizard, which is a hive that can have a super. So just be aware of that. They have an arc super, which is kind of like the warlock arc super, where it's the roaming one. I don't know what it's called, but it's not the whole super laser thing. I'm gonna back up real quick and take my heavy out. You can see they do a lot of damage with that. And that is one reason why I do have an arc resistant mod on, as well as the 2 solar ones, like I mentioned in the loadout prior. Because some enemies here, the lucent moths or whatever they're called, that they do those little explosive arc damage, that gets pretty annoying. So I have that on just in case. I always forget there's a barrier champion here. So let's see if we can stun him before he goes into this bigger room. There we go. To be honest, I recommend trying to just take him out right here when you're in this part of the Lost Sector, because if you let him leave over here, he's pretty much just going to be annoying. He's going to sit in the back of the map, and it's a lot harder to stun him and get like your kill if he's just hanging around in the back here. So get rid of these guys. And now this is probably the most annoying part, in my opinion, of this Lost Sector. Is once you step forward, you're going to see the ogre and everything spawn. Now I'm going to try to just stun him off a rip and see if I can get a kill. And really all I'm concerned about is that unstoppable champion. I'm thinking of popping super. But let me just run around the edges here. Throw some nades to try to protect me. Alright, I got these thralls chasing me, so let's just deal with them first then. Or this guy's gonna just, you know, say hello. Now that I did that, let's do this. And you can see this guy actually spawned, and I forgot to stick there to point it out, but he's gonna spawn at one point. It'll pop up on the left side of your screen if there's a lucent hive or whatever, and you want to be very careful with him because he has a solar super, and obviously with the solar burn and everything, you don't want to get hit by that. So that's why I went to that left side, because it's relatively safe. As you can see, the unstoppable ogre approached where I was at over here, but he didn't really get the chance to do damage on me. That's why I recommend making sure you have a super when you get here, because it makes it way easier. All you really have to worry about here is the thrall that were chasing me, and maybe acolytes or whatever that might show up. A little exotic right here, and my engrams are full. Well, at least if I don't get an exotic from this Lost Sector, I know I got one to drop from a regular enemy. So you can see we're doing pretty good on time. Pretty much like a 5-minute run so far. But right now, this is where it's going to get a little annoying. You're going to see all these ads here. And I'm just going to throw some nades. Because right now, you can see the boss is going to spawn. There's some orbs that drop. I'm going to try to pick these up, but I don't know if that's a good idea, to be honest. You can see he is doing arc damage. So that's another reason why I got that arc resistant mod, like I mentioned. I'm gonna run because I'm absolute one shot. I might as well just leave those orbs at this point. It's probably not even worth it. But I do feel like a void subclass can definitely work here if you're trying to be very precautious when it comes to survivability and everything, and having that void subclass to give you that peace of mind knowing that you can just go invisible and, you know, tether and stuff. I feel like it's definitely usable, especially with, you know, Unto the Breach and those artifact mods. But I just figured I'd change it up, because if I just made void videos, I know there's gonna be some people that are like, bro, you're just using void 24/7, can you switch it up? So that's what I'm trying to do. Even though it's up to me, I'd be using void subclass right now. And that's tragic. I'm just trying to deal with these ads. Do that. And bad thing about like sitting in this spot is you can't really put a decoy down because you're either left or right, and all the ads are just gonna, you know, try to shoot at you anyway. So I'm gonna try and deal with this guy, but you can see this knight does not want me to do that. Jesus. There we go. Pretty much just need to use my heavy for the rest of it. Get rid of this annoying knight. Throw the mage down. Get a melee. Now, let's be very careful, because once you pop your super, if you go for it on the boss right away, you know, he might stomp on the ground, he might do some damage. And the last thing you want to do is get caught with your super and then you die. To me, that's the most annoying thing, is like if you pop super and you just get stomped on and the boss just like one hits you. I just can't stand that. I'm gonna dodge right here and go back and heal. To be honest, I could just run over here, to be honest. I'm not gonna keep sitting in that little spot. Pick up these orbs. Try to see if I can get Feast of Light up, but I doubt it at this point. Try to deal with the acolytes. And watch out for those moths too, because I've had so many times where I think I killed everything and then a moth just randomly blows up. But I'm just gonna do this. I doubt you can suspend this guy. You can kind of stagger him, as you can see. He kind of stopped, but that's pretty much it. Little 8-minute 30-second run, and I got an exotic. Who knows if that's the new one? I guess we'll never know. If it is, I'll probably just put a clip of it at the end. But you can see 8 minutes 26 seconds, pretty much 8-minute 30-second run, like I said. And that's gonna do it here. So if you like the video, make sure to drop a like, comment, let me know if there's any other builds that are pretty useful here, because I'm definitely open to suggestions for this. I really don't like this Lost Sector. I wouldn't recommend farming it, but if you had to, it's definitely doable. But that's gonna do it for the video. Like, comment, sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.